Hello and welcome back to Calm AF. I'm Kristen Finch. This is episode 334. And today we're going to talk about how to get more done, be more productive, and achieve goals in a way that makes them permanent instead of short term, but not in the way you've probably tried before. So if you're new here, I am going to ask you to hear me out. Just stick with me because as you listen, you're probably going to think this sounds a little airy-fairy silliness, that I'm not actually serious about you achieving your goals. Let me assure you, the opposite is true. I am low-key obsessed with people creating lives that they love and people really living up to their potential and blowing their own minds at what they are able to achieve in life. And what I am going to be sharing with you today comes not from just something that I heard once. It's 30 years of education and experience in helping people create lasting neural pathways and change their behaviors for good. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you why prioritizing fun and joy and all the other things that you keep putting off until after you've achieved all your goals are the exact fuel you need to be using to be more productive and efficient in achieving your goals. So, will you hear me out? Yes? All right, let's dive in. Since the end of 2022, I have been running a program called Calm AF Life. And this group is really designed to be a reminder of what's working in our lives. What areas of our life that have felt hard are we seeing progress? Because that's just such a more efficient use of our time to take something that is working and expand on it, instead of going into all of the things that aren't working and trying to fix every little problem. One of the other things that we do pretty regularly is we choose a bucket. If you were to take your life and put it into different buckets, these would be the buckets. So physical health, mindset, work, home, all the categories you think about when you're like, what area of my life do I need to improve or change? And one of the buckets is the fun bucket. In my opinion, the most important bucket, the most transformative bucket of all the buckets. And I also know it's kind of a hard sell because it's not what we're used to hearing. So every month we would talk about the buckets and I'd be like, okay, what bucket are you going to focus on? And by the way, don't forget about the fun bucket. I would give my little spiel about how focusing on the fun bucket will seriously change your life. And most months, my clients would be like, totally. Yes, Kristen, I definitely will focus on the fun bucket. But I think first, I need to really figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. Or once I clear out all the clutter in my house, then I will totally focus on the fun bucket. And listen, I totally understood the resistance because I too live in this world and I too hear the same exact programming. I, for a very long time, believed the only way you could achieve a goal or live a good life was through hard work. And hard work, by definition, has to be hard, hence the name. So I would white-knuckle my way through everything. How long can I force myself to do this thing that I hate in order to achieve my goal? How long can I avoid that donut? And the cycle was always the same. This burst of motivation. I was super disciplined for weeks. If I was lucky, months. I would follow the rules perfectly and then inevitably burn out and end up right back where I started. Usually feeling worse because now I just have another reminder that I never follow through on anything and everything I start, I don't finish. luckily, somewhere along this journey of mine, I remembered I had a whole master's degree worth of knowledge on how to change brain patterns permanently. A bachelor's, a master's degree, a decade of working with clients. And I finally just put these two things together. They felt very separate, my private life, my personal goals versus the brain rewiring I was doing with my patients. And I finally put two and two together and remembered brains don't make long-term changes when they feel punished or afraid or are dependent on willpower. They make temporary changes when that's happening. Our nervous systems resist anything that feels like deprivation. If you want a habit to be permanent, it cannot depend on willpower alone. You need a new neural pathway that becomes hardwired over time. Once I realized that, I put that into place in my own life. I saw these radical changes and how the things that I always would do short term, now they were just who I was. Like, I don't have a cluttered house anymore. And it's not something I'm willpowering my way through. I just don't, because I have created a permanent pathway. So I knew that this was a hard sell, but I also knew that the fun bucket was the path. So month after month, I'm like, oh, what about the fun bucket? Don't forget about the fun bucket. Until finally one day, one of my clients was basically like, fine, if I pick the fun bucket, will you shut up about it? She didn't actually say that, but there was this underlying, okay, fine, I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove this doesn't work and then get back to the real stuff. So she chose it. And I think she did believe in some way, but it was a reluctant choice. So the next week, she came back, and as we are reporting our wins and our celebrations from the past week, she was like, this is weird, but I have been prioritizing the fun bucket, as everybody knows, and this strange thing is happening. I'm getting so much more done. I'm having a lot of fun, but these little things that I've been kind of pushing off forever, I'm getting those things done. And I am thinking in my head, I'm like, don't get too excited. You're going to scare them off. But I was so excited because this is exactly what I knew would happen. I just needed someone to raise their hand and be willing, because I'd already had my own experiment. When I stopped white-knuckling everything and focused on joy, on feeling light and free, I stopped needing to white-knuckle my way to not eat a donut, because donuts weren't the only way I was feeling good in my life. I had so many more moments of joy and fun and tastiness in my life that the donut kind of lost its charge. When you're constantly depriving yourself of things that feel good, of fun, you end up seeking that feeling in ways that don't always serve you. But when you are regularly feeding yourself these moments of joy and you're prioritizing fun and laughter, you stop being desperate for those feelings. So as she reported week after week that, gosh, this fun bucket, there really is something to it, other people started choosing the fun bucket and reporting back, this is really weird, but I'm actually more productive when I prioritize fun. And I would be like, well, it's not actually weird, it's science. Now, here is how it gets interesting. A couple months later, the same woman who chose the fun bucket for the first time, she shows up and she's like, as powerful as the fun bucket has been, I really feel like I need to focus on my physical health now. I have been using fun as an excuse to eat more foods I don't normally let myself eat and do things instead of my routines. So I think I need to bring it in and focus back on my physical health. And I was like, okay, This is very normal because sometimes when you finally give yourself permission to choose fun, at first you might go a little wild. Like, a high school student who has been like tightly controlled all through high school, they go off to college and they're like, wait a second, I can stay up until 3 a.m. I can order a pizza at 3 a.m. and go to a party on a Wednesday. I can just skip a class. If I'm too tired, nobody's going to stop me. It's a normal thing. But then hopefully, if you have the right support system in place, you find yourself moving back to some spot in the middle between perfectly controlled and completely feral. If you have ever in your life had disordered thinking around food, around your body, this restrict-binge cycle probably feels familiar. But we're just talking about joy instead of food. And what I want you to understand is fun doesn't have to be withheld in order to trust yourself to do work. And work doesn't have to be what you do in order to earn fun. They can go together. And in fact, they really go together like peanut butter and chocolate. The best combo ever. Just think about it. Think about times in your life where you've put in a lot of effort doing something, but it also was fun. Like you worked on a project and the project was fun, even though you put in a lot of work. Or think about days where you start your day by doing something that really fills your joy tank. You go meet your friend for coffee and spend the morning just laughing. How the whole rest of your day feels so good. There's a reason. The most productive thing that you can do is prioritize the things that you tend to put off until later because they feel like they're supposed to be rewards. They feel frivolous instead of foundational. Things like rest, joy, fun, beauty. They aren't frivolous. They are foundational. The most efficient way to get work done is to use fun and joy as your fuel. But here's how to make it stick so you don't go from like totally tightly wound to totally feral. In order to make it stick, you need to be bombarded with messaging that fun, joy, beauty, connecting with people you love, connecting with nature is the most efficient fuel you can put in your tank. So that's how you become more productive and more efficient and achieve your goals for good. You make sure you are prioritizing feeling good. The more fun you have, the more productive you will be. Now, I want to invite you to choose the fun bucket this month. And in order to not have the fun bucket something that you pick and then you're like, whoops, now I got to be serious again, you need to be bombarded with that messaging. You can get my love letters every single morning. First thing in your inbox is a daily reminder that you aren't here to be a perfect human before you're allowed to enjoy your life, this amazing, precious life that you only get one of. These love letters take less than 2 minutes to read, and they ensure that the first neural pathway you travel each day is the one that you are hardwiring. That work doesn't have to be hard, and that choosing joy, choosing fun, prioritizing things that feel good will make you more productive and efficient. Go to the show notes and click the link and get September Love Notes in your inbox. And after you've done that, after you've signed up for love letters, add one fun thing to your day today. Put on your favorite song that you cannot help but dance to every time you hear it. Send a funny picture to your best friend. Just see what happens today when you choose the fun bucket, when you fuel up with joy instead of white-knuckling, and discipline. Just see what happens. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, make sure that you subscribe, send it to a friend, leave a review. That helps more people get the message that joy is the most efficient fuel. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you next time.